Hi, my name's Iona Antwis from Loughborough Lightning, and you're watching Women's Rugby Show.
Hello, and welcome back to the Women's Rugby Show. I'm Sam Byler, and today I'm here with an Allianz Cup preview. It's a bit like a player preview, this one's going to be. We speak to two players from the game we are going to watch this weekend, and that is Gloucester Hartpury against Bristol Bears, women. So we're speaking to Rachel Lund from Gloucester Hartpury, someone who's been out with injuries for all of this season, so it's her first game back this season. And also Daisie Mayes, who's only played twice this season, both off the bench. So two players who haven't had much game time, so we're really excited to see them play. So we spoke to them this week to see their thoughts on kind of what the Allianz Cup is as a competition, and how excited they are to get going in it as well. First of all, Rachel, thank you so much for chatting to us this afternoon. First up, how are you? How have you been over the last kind of 2-week break from the Premier 15s? Obviously, you've been injured for a lot of this season so far. So, kind of how are you? And you're raring to go for the weekend?
Yeah, fab. So, unfortunately, I haven't actually managed to get my shirt pulled on this season just yet because I had a pretty good ankle injury about 10 days before the first league game, and I've just been rehabbing and getting back from that. So unfortunately, like I say, I haven't actually had any game time yet. So I've definitely been raring to go, and looking forward to this weekend, definitely. But the club and the girls as a whole, like I said, they've had a strong start, a few really unlucky results in terms of some really close games and some really good kind of performances that they've put together, and just maybe haven't quite clicked towards the last 5-10 minutes. And sadly, we've been on the losing end of a few really tough games, but I think, like I say, the opportunity that we've got now for the next 3 weeks of like 3 competitive Premiership Cup games without any of kind of our internationals that are away on sort of international duty, I think it's actually really exciting because it gives a lot of people, people like myself, an opportunity to get back into some game time, but equally those that have been in and training and necessarily haven't got those shirts that they maybe would like, it's a real opportunity for them and for us as a club to kind of really put a mark down onto what we can offer and what we can do.
How tough is it being kind of, you mentioned you've been out for the season so far, how tough has it been watching from the sideline, watching the girls play?
Yeah, do you know what, I think it was even more tough because we had such a good pre-season, and I was very much involved. I don't think I actually missed a minute, and I actually think I said that the day that I injured my ankle, was that we've been there kind of a really, really good pre-season. We were kind of training Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, pretty much since June, and it was a really good build-up, and I think we were in a really good place. And I think that was actually the biggest disappointment, was that I wasn't able to kind of go with the girls and try and carry that hard work that we put in over the summer into the season. So personally, for me, like I said, that was a real disappointment, but I mean, it's the game that we play, isn't it, in terms of picking up knocks and injuries. And like I said, thankfully it's not hopefully kept me out for too long. So I missed the beginning of the season, but hopefully won't miss much more. So it's been tough, but like I say, they've done really, really well. And I think in terms of our progression and our development as a club and as a group, I think we've definitely made some really big strides forward in this opening campaign. And I think that's the only thing that we can really ask, is that we keep developing, we keep learning from each game, and then actually, like I say, hopefully those results will start to take care of themselves, because I think we pride ourselves on being a group with a real big potential, and yes, we haven't necessarily always kind of brought that to the forefront and got the wins, but actually, like I say, there are some performances that we are really proud of, regardless.
And kind of what does this 2 weeks without games on the weekend look like in camp in terms of training?
Yeah, so they are Linny and the coaching staff and the medical staff and the S&Cs, they've been brilliant with us, because I think they've acknowledged that actually we did have a really big pre-season, and then we ran into this kind of first run of games, and that's very much what we talked about at the beginning, was kind of this first block, get this first job done, and then we're going to have be rewarded with that little bit of downtime. So we've had a couple of training nights off. Unfortunately, I haven't. I've been every running sessions and kind of getting myself back in terms of our injured group, but the girls that have been playing, they've had a little bit of downtime, and just a little bit of a different focus in terms of trying to get a few more players, really fine-tuning our processes and our phases and kind of the shape that we want to try and run, to bring those girls that are kind of stepping up and will be coming into that Premiership Cup competition, trying to get them really up to speed. And so we're training at the moment on Monday nights, and that's kind of a gym of skills that we're training at Kingsholm. So we're training in their new barn and their new facility, which is brilliant actually, because it doesn't matter what the weather's doing, we can all stay warm and dry inside. But those are really great, because actually those skill sessions give us some good opportunity to get some detail in, and then, like I say, we've very much been moved into this week for a proper competition week, where we've got the game on Saturday. So yeah, it's been good.
You touched on that Kingsland thing. How important is that kind of growing link with Gloucester being in terms of training there and kind of having more use of the facilities?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. And I think it will only continue to go in that direction. Or that's what the impression I get, and the hopes that we have as a club is that growth and that relationship really kind of continues. And Sean's doing a brilliant job of kind of building that bridge and really kind of taking opportunities and working with the the big bosses over at Gloucester to try and bring as much in terms of resources from them, but also kind of what we can offer them in terms of opportunities and how we can make that as a partnership as opposed to just sort of asking them to kind of give us everything. And like I say, the Monday night opportunity has been brilliant because actually it's a different training environment. It's a really good setup actually with the gym right next door to the kind of the indoor barn. And so like I say, we kind of get there it's only kind of an hour and a half session in total where we maybe 2 hours in terms of a really good skill session and straight into the gym, and then we're back out by kind of 7:15 time, and like I say, it's just a fantastic facility that we have access to, which we're very lucky to be enjoying at the moment.
How important do you feel like this cup competition is for a club like Gloucester? Obviously, you've got the massive links with Hartpury College, a few girls who've been playing a lot of Premier 15s rugby. Georgia Brock played for the uni, and a few of those uni girls are going to step up. How important do you think this competition may be for that kind of development?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think that was evident last year in terms of when the second team league kind of didn't exist anymore. And actually, I know obviously it was a COVID year, so it's slightly differently. But actually, I think there's a real need for girls to be able to get that game time and that development. And I think we've said it before. I've personally said it before in terms of I think we're actually a better club when we just keep going, when we keep building and keep building. And I think having those big breaks in the season for kind of autumn internationals and Six Nations, I don't personally think works always in our favour. I think physically for a rest it does, but actually I think we look better when we play week on week and we really build to something. So that's great for that continuation. But with the links that we've got to obviously Hartpury College, Hartpury University, we have a lot of girls within that pool that they train and they practice moves and phase plays and processes quite similar to what we do. So trying to make that transition so when they do potentially step up to Gloucester Hartpury, then actually it's not all alien information for them. And I think giving them the opportunity to kind of get a shirt on this weekend potentially for some girls is massive, because I think that it's all part of a bit of a system. Some girls come at 16, they come for college, they spend 2 years here, potentially they stay on for university, and actually some of them don't leave because actually they graduate and they like Gloucester Hartpury that much that they stay. And I think that's a really organic way of kind of trying to generate really good quality players with a real tie and a link to Gloucester Hartpury. So it's a fantastic opportunity for them this weekend, and I think, like I say, it's only one that's going to continue to grow as the Premiership Cup continues, to be honest.
Is there anyone you think we should be looking out for this weekend in terms of coming into the side? Maybe like yourself being injured or just young and up and coming?
To be honest, we actually haven't had the team formally announced yet. So I've asked this. Like I say, this is I couldn't say specifically, but I know we have got some really exciting young forwards. I know that people like Amy Dale, Meg Isaac, they've kind of already had a bit of a nod in the Premiership already, but they've been, they came sort of mid pre-season and actually have just slotted right in, and they've got really stuck into what we're about and our processes. And I think they've already had some really promising performances. And again, hopefully now they get the game time and the period of time, because like I say, I think they've done a fantastic job. I know Meg's had a couple of starts and Amy's had a couple too in terms of some time off the bench, and I think it's that prolonged period of time where actually they have a real opportunity to put some really good rugby together, and I think that's really exciting. But on that, like I say, I haven't necessarily seen the team sheet. I wouldn't say necessarily I'm one to watch. I'm going to be back, like I say, dusting off my boots and trying to get myself back into some sort of fitness and form again. But yeah, like I said, those young girls, they're our future really. So like I said, they're definitely one to watch. So it'll be exciting to see them go this weekend.
How's the prep kind of been this week? Obviously, you've missing a fair few Welsh internationals, Zoe, and also Connie and Emma away with England. How tough has it been without those kind of like leaders? You've got a full Welsh front row essentially. Has it been tough kind of having leadership in training this week?
I don't necessarily think it has. Like I say, Tuesday night we had a really good session in terms of there was a lot of detail, a lot of team play work, and like I say, trying to make sure that it's almost a balance of trying to have an intense enough training session that these girls are getting ready for what will be a really intense fixture against Bristol this weekend, but also making sure that they have the opportunity to ask the questions, to have the detail, to have the clarity for feeling confident enough to go into this weekend with that information under their belt. So naturally when you take those big name players like you've just mentioned out of the game and out of our training session, it changes that dynamic. But I don't necessarily think it's left, leadership holes, if that makes sense. There's plenty of girls around the group that, are more than happy to kind of be a lending hand to any of those young girls that need some extra help, or equally just to fire us up a little bit. We've still got our trusted captain Mo, so she's absolutely still there on hand to tell us what's what. And like I say, it's there's a nice collective around the group in terms of what we're trying to do at the moment. And I think that, like I say, we've got those holes missing in terms of our internationals, who obviously we're very proud of, that are out doing a job for their countries in the next couple of weeks. But equally, I think it's a great opportunity for other people to have a go at those positions, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And finally, a West Country derby to kickstart the competition against Bristol. Do you think there's a little bit of a desire to kind of get a result over them after the league game? And also, just how exciting is it to be playing a West Country derby? There's happened twice a season. It's opportunity for a third one. So is it really exciting to be out there on Saturday?
Yeah, honestly, we're just super excited, because actually it's, like I say, that Bristol game that we had at home was, it was a cracker of a game of rugby for a neutral. Obviously we were pretty bitterly disappointed at the result at the end, but like I say, I think that's all we're really about in terms of us as a group of girls. We're out to put some really good quality rugby out there, and we're hopeful that we've got the men's game, the Hartpury boys, they're playing before us at 2:30, and then we're hopeful that means that some of the crowd will stay that maybe don't necessarily always come to watch, and then actually, like I say, for our normal fans that do come down, we'll kind of really just want to put on a bit of a show. And like I say, give ourselves the opportunity to express ourselves in a really positive way in terms of the type of rugby that we want to play. And we know Bristol are a class outfit. They've put some fantastic performances out there, but they're going to be missing some big names this weekend, and I think it'll be a really quality game in terms of two top teams that hopefully, like I say, can produce a real show for some spectators and for the rugby fans.
Perfect. So thank you so much for chatting to us this afternoon. Best of luck for Saturday, and best of luck for the rest of the season as well.
That's great. Thanks very much.
First of all, Daisie, thank you so much for chatting to us this afternoon. First of all, how are you, and how have you been over the 2-week gap in Allianz Premier 15s fixtures?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. The past 2 weeks has been a great place to be in Bear Country. We're so excited for this fixture. So yeah, been really good, thank you.
So kind of how has the training looked at High Performance Centre for you lot, considering you've been 5 from 5 in the league? You're going into this cup competition with a load of fresh and new talent, and also players playing really well for their club and then going into the country. So what's training been like over the last 2 weeks?
So actually, whereas I think probably some other clubs have had a bit of a rest and took their foot off the pedal over the last 2 weeks or so, we've actually firmly pushed that pedal down. We've upped the intensity. It's a great opportunity to give the younger girls that haven't had much game time, such as myself, over the past 2 years or so, a good opportunity to get some more reps in, get them in those, the pivotal pressure zones, put them under pressure, and just, put our game plan to force, really. So, yeah.
I think you've played twice so far this season. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've been on the bench twice. Had a couple of minutes in both games. So, yeah, really looking forward to getting some more games.
How, obviously, Dave Ward's first season at the Bears, how exciting has it been working under somebody like him, and how much has he brought to the club?
Absolutely incredible. I think, the results from the girls speak volumes in itself. I don't really even need to tell you. The club really has done a 360. I think it would be easy for people to say that training at the new High Performance Centre has been a lot of that, but actually it hasn't. The work from the staff and the players has been absolutely incredible. And Dave has just really given us that confidence to show that we are professional rugby players. We are at that standard and we can achieve something special. So we shouldn't think anything less. Yeah, I don't want to big his ego too much, but he's been pretty great.
And what are your thoughts on the Allianz Cup overall? Obviously, it's a new competition. You're saying how good it is for that development of players. What are your thoughts on the competition?
I personally think it's great, and I think it's great for women's rugby. I especially with clubs like ourselves, we've got over 40 girls on the book. So just getting the girls that don't have regular game time, some game time, to put what we've put into practice and training into reality in a game is great. I mean, we're not treating it any different to a Prem game. To us, it's still a big opportunity. So I think it's really important, especially we've got quite a young squad. So some of the girls coming in now from our Centre of Excellence and from the local universities and sister clubs is a good opportunity to keep them immersed in our training schedule and also our culture, but giving them exposure in the. So yeah, I think it's.
You mentioned that the prep's not being different from a Prem 15s week. How is it been difficult? Obviously, without the England girls have been away, the Welsh girls have been away, and you've got a fair few of them. How is it been any difficult without them in and around camp?
I wouldn't say it's been difficult now. I think the great thing about our squad is that everybody generally supports each other 100%. We had a forwards meeting a couple of weeks ago, well, when the full squad was back, and I just said, like, this year it doesn't feel like we're competing with shirts. Like, I know the back row, especially in my position, 100% support me, and it doesn't feel like I'm competing with them. So they've left us in a really good place where others can step up and they have the confidence to do that. So there hasn't been any difficulties. It's actually been a great opportunity for myself and younger players to, and there's also some slightly older players. I'm not the oldest, but for us to just, get some more confidence with the ball in hand and running more reps in our structures.
Obviously, Gloucester Hartpury are in a similar position to yourself in terms of youth squad. They've got, obviously, the partnership with Hartpury College. Is it difficult to prep for playing them when you're not actually sure who may be playing? There could be a few unknown players.
Not really, no. We generally don't even discuss the opposition before a game. To us, we can't control them, so what's the point? Focus on ourselves. But looking at it, retrospectively, they haven't actually lost that many players to internationals. So we know what we're going to come up with, and yeah, we're ready. So,
and it's a local derby as well, West Country derby. The first game was really close down there. Obviously, you go in there again. First of all, where do you think the game's going to be won and lost for yourselves? And also, just how excited are you to be playing a local derby?
Firstly, always great to play a local derby, isn't it? I think when we played down there earlier in the year, when the girls won the very close score, it felt like a home match. The crowd that come down and is, in women's rugby, it's usually always, family, friends. But it was great to see actual fans and supporters that have travelled down, and we're seeing them regularly at all our games. It was just incredible. In terms of the game itself, I think it's going to come down to those 50-50 battles. I think we're quite matched physically. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very physical game, and I'm really looking forward to that.